Hey, big boy.
Ooh, spicy.
Okay.
It's an interesting way to start off the pod, right?
Wow. Hello.
This is an amazing story that came from a friend of the pod. And let me just say, all three of us were probably in tears when we heard the story, but also not surprised. Okay? Not surprised in the slightest. So the friend was on a call with a potential client. They always use their AI note taker to make sure that they're getting everything. Because, of course, I know us elder millennials on this podcast, we like to take notes, but having the AI note taker helps because I miss things or I'm also a terrible speller. So it records, the conversation and helps. So when you want to send like an email post conversation, you have your bullet points all nice and organized. Thanks, AI. Taking my job again. Okay. So my friend goes and proceeds to pull up the conversation from the call the next morning to write a nice thank you email. Let me summarize what we talked about, right? And they realized the recording was so much longer than their, 45-minute phone call conversation. And he was like, oh, crap. It actually recorded this guy, like his whole rest of his 4 to 5 hour day, right?
What?
Once again, no big deal. I don't need that part. I'm going to scrap it. However, immediately after that 45-minute call, the AI turns to, hey, big boy, and rolls into, what's your dream video? Customize and enjoy your filthy results. AI is powerful, and actors sometimes are getting their cut and getting their clients billing filled. Like, what? I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh.
So this man proceeded to get off the phone and immediately jump on a porn website. And the AI note taker caught it all and helped summarize it.
What I liked about this is sometimes you hear stories and you'll hear things and it'll be like a friend, whatever. And you're always like, oh, did that really happen? I mean, they brought receipts. My parents were visiting. And so I was out to dinner with my parents and I start laughing. Of course, everyone's like, what's so funny? I'm like, no. And then of course, everyone's even more like, no, really, what's funny? But they included screenshots of it. And it was so, yes. I was laughing so hard. Like it pivots very quickly and very explicitly. And yeah, it was real.
Oh,
it's pretty epic.
Wow. How did that happen though? Like they left the browser open? I mean, like how?
I guess.
Like I'm just, not that I'm nervous, but I'm just curious,
I started using AI for some of my calls. Again, it discloses it because I would look down sometimes and look at my call notes and it would say hello. And then I'd look at my call and that was it. That was the note I took the whole call.
The date.
Yeah. And my husband joined Manager Method as Chief Customer Officer earlier this year. And so he'd be like, oh, do you have the call notes? And I would be like, oh, well, we had a great conversation. Right? Hello. It was just hard. I was trying to think back to all the details. I find it helpful. One, I always make sure it's disclosed. So if anybody doesn't want it, I'm like, yeah, no worries. I'll just hello you back again. But when I saw this and I was like, oh my gosh, because they use the same note taker, but I think they may be using the free version. Like normally it cuts off. So I'd never seen anyone's conversation continue, but I was laughing so hard.
Well, yeah, and my brain went into like crisis mode. So I'm like, the HR brain goes, oh my God, they're on their work computer and they're looking at porn.
Yeah.
Like instantly after a call.
Yeah.
That would give me cringe. Like if someone has a call with me and then they go straight into that, could I work with them? Like, did I have that effect on them? Like, what is that? Do they like judgment? I mean,
I'm a silly, goofy girl. So like if I had a call with them again, I'd be like, hey, big boy.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
I would.
I know we're going to Vegas soon. We'll play other games. We're not playing poker because I'll laugh. Jamie will be like, oh my God, I got a pair of aces. Jamie keeps it real. I love it.
Yes, unfortunately, 100%.
Did we ever learn how that finished?
Well, I mean, we didn't get the transcript of him finishing.
Oh,
I would love to see that.
Yeah, this person's like, if this person's doing that between meetings, that could be. Always check your settings. It's like we've talked in the past about checking your LinkedIn privacy viewing settings. If you don't know what we're talking about and you want to have those private, just go and look at that. But also your AI note taker settings, or maybe just what you're doing generally.
Yeah, like toggle off that keep on indefinitely.
Yeah, right.
You know, like
Follow me through my day.
oh gosh. Oh, it's not perfect, people. They're still working out some bugs.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
DSW, Designer Shoe Warehouse, is the one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. With sneakers, boots, and everything in between for every style, mood, and occasion, you'll definitely find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. DSW has what you need, but more importantly, they have what you didn't even know you wanted. You never know what you'll find at DSW. Find the shoes that get you at prices that get your budget at DSW stores or DSW.com.
Well, perfect segue though. Thank you so much, Jamie, because today we are talking about AI anxiety. So all things AI, everyone is quietly and loudly freaking out about AI at work and its effects, right? What does it mean for your job? What does it mean for your workday, your future, right? All of that. And so we're going to turn that insight out a little bit as our hot topic. But first, we are going to have some Cringe Corporate Speak brought to us by Ashley. And then we are going to end with some questions and comments as we always do. So that is our meeting agenda for the day. What do we think? Sounds solid.
Yeah, sounds great.
No agenda, no attenda. All right. So we're good. We can continue this meeting. What do you got, Ashley? Cringe us out some more.
Well, I mean, we have felt sufficiently cringe, so I could say big boy as that, but we've already done big boy. What did big boy pants? We did that in, early on, a very early episode. But this one's appropriate, which is, I know just enough to be dangerous. Have you all ever heard this?
Yes.
Yeah, and I've used it.
Me too.
In what context?
I feel like in HR, you do know just enough to be dangerous, right? I mean, you know people's addresses, you know their salary, you know when they've gotten in trouble, you know a lot about the peoples.
Yeah. And for me, I think I've used it in the context of because we support across all functions and we hire talent within the business, like we really know, we should know about our industries, the functions, all of that.
Yeah, the business model.
Everything, right? So I've known, other people's jobs better than they can do them. Like just flat out. There's so many jobs I could do it just because I've hired it. I've designed them, some roles, right? So I've used it in the context of someone's talking about something technical. I've supported so many global engineering teams. It's like, hey, look, I know just enough to be dangerous. And the fact that I know you're bullshitting me, or like, I know how that works. I know the process on that, like literally, so I know how jet engine works, like things like that, right? I'm like, I know just enough to be dangerous,
I wrote the job description before AI, okay?
Exactly.
That's a tip that I actually think is helpful if you're in whether it's HR, recruiting, talent management, wherever recruiting falls in your organization, but is talking to individuals and not just leaders, but the people that do the job and saying, what are things that you think I should know as we put together job descriptions? Or what do you think, what would be helpful? This can be cringe and non-cringe, like many of our terms. I actually think it's non-cringe. If it's funny and you're joking with someone, you say that okay, I know just enough to be dangerous. And you say it with that tone. It's the how you say it. When I was a lawyer, I have to say, sometimes the most challenging situations where many people go to law school and I no longer practice law. I do this though, which is still kind of involves it. But some people have completely different roles. But people that went to law school that have a law degree love to tell everybody that they went to, that they went to law school, or it's like,
I went to Emory.
hey, wait.
He's like, hey.
That's oddly specific.
You've never said that for the record.
Or the person that's like, oh, I went to med school for 2 years and dropped out. Like everyone's like, oh yeah, I know, bingo card, gotcha. People would say that, but it wasn't really, people wouldn't necessarily say that enough to be dangerous. Most people, the cringe to me is when people are like, I know this because I went to law school. I'm like, okay, well, okay, there you go. And again, it's about talking to the other person and just trying to relate to them and not come in like, I know all about you. If you lead with curiosity, I think this can be completely non-cringe.
I agree. You just make it kind of cheeky. You shared something the other day, Ashley, about how when you were working with Yum Brands, I think, right, you did time in a restaurant.
Yes.
Like to really understand it. And I went to jet engine school when I was with GE Aviation. And I went to the school and, spent a couple of weeks like learning how that worked. Once I did that, other jobs, I asked, like, please let me go through the onboarding. Like, please, if I can, if it's not unionized, let me work the line. Let me touch you know what I mean? With supervision, whatever, right? But like, let me like experience that. And I think it makes all the difference to help you know enough to be dangerous.
Yeah. It is all fun and games when you're working on a contract until you realize that the reality of that contract is technology that's going to make someone have to understand orders at the drive-thru. And what a skill set. I learned skills in law school. There's no skill I learned stronger than Rhonda at the KFC in Louisville that I worked with, who was like schooling me on the drive-thru. I mean, trying to teach me, but she was really schooling me on how to take the drive-thru orders, understand them, get things ready at the same time and talk. I mean, that was a skill. I cannot agree more of like just trying to take a second and walk in people's shoes to the extent you can.
Mm-hmm.
I think that makes HR dangerous. I kid there, but like that is so important for not only like I think executives need to do that, but also HR. I mean, it is so enlightening. I feel like it helped me not only with employee relations, but like recruiting. It helped me when I shadowed, because once again, I've worked in healthcare for the last 11 years. I'm not clinical. But I learned enough to understand and know what questions to ask. It's extremely helpful, and I suggest every person on the C-suite or HR, if they can, be a part of onboarding or trainings or even a day in the life of.
Love that. Oh, understanding the job is so important, but our jobs are changing. Shift to the hot topic there. I don't know if that was very smooth or not, but today, all things AI, artificial intelligence, anxiety, like it's real. People are feeling it. I mean, we are reading it, right? I mean, there's so much out about it. Our DMs are full of questions on this. All the brands are talking about it and promoting it. I mean, it's a thing. It's definitely a hot topic, but you're not overreacting if you have anxiety about AI. I mean, it's just human, right? So you all are hearing this, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I think Ashley made a joke at the last conference we went to in March about how you can't go to a conference these days, any conference, without hearing AI powered, AI this.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's everywhere. I mean, it's in our face whether we like it or not.
Ashley, same, right? You're hearing it's hot.
Yeah, it's hot. I feel like the longer now that we as a general public have worked in HR and worked in AI in the workplace or had it be a topic. I mean, there are plenty of people that are like, oh, AI has been a thing for decades. But for a lot of people, AI has been something over the last 6 months, a year, 2 years. Like it's really like for a lot of people, ChatGPT. And it's interesting because I do feel like the more that we learn about it, the more anxious it has made us. Because I think when it first started, I'd be at leading training sessions. I was like, well, who's used ChatGPT? And like people like almost nobody had. And so walking them through how you can use it and all the guardrails of things of like, this is why you don't put confidential information. But now that I think people are seeing the powers of it and how it's changing, and it does seem to be everywhere, there's just such anxiety about it. And I actually think it's anxiety from people that are worried about job loss, but also leaders who I think are masking their anxiety and uncertainty for like their approach often is like, well, we need to have a strategy and be strategic of HR. I think if you were to ask a lot of C-level leaders, like, what is your AI strategy exactly? I think a lot of people just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I mean, I really feel like that is what is driving the anxiety, right? Just the lack of position from brands, the lack of communication to the workforce, right? So what I'm seeing a lot of is some brands are taking an external position on AI, right? They're saying yes to AI, let's promote AI, but internally, crickets. And in the absence of information, people are going to fill in, the worst. They just are, you know what I mean? So instantly, like to your point, Ashley, it goes to job loss. Like that's the thought. Like AI is going to replace us, right?
Well, and I think if you couple that, like right now, we are seeing the highest unemployment rate since the pandemic. And it was a lot of these tech companies that did large layoffs. So people are like, well, it's AI. AI took their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also have a lot of these recent college grads can't find entry level jobs because they're being replaced by AI, supposedly. So that just contributes to the fear and the anxiety.
Well, if you're in HR, for those that are listening that are in HR, or even those that aren't, but are like, I sense this, okay, what do we do about it? How do you handle AI anxiety at work? Like, what are your steps if you're sitting there in whether it's corporate or any other type of organization, and you're seeing the media on this, and maybe you're hearing this from your teams, maybe you're just sensing it from your teams, but Leigh, what would you do about it?
I would normalize it, that it is a thing. Hey, some of you may be anxious about the effects of AI, right? I mean, I think we have to have the conversations internally. It's not enough, to rely on your employees reading your investor report or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you need to have the conversations internally. If your business, if it's not coming top down, you as a leader can have those conversations with your employees in the sense that, hey, we some of you may be anxious about the effects of AI. We don't have a strategy as a business right now, but when we do, I'll share it. Or we do have a strategy, and here's what it means for you. Or here's what it doesn't mean for you. Like we actually need to start talking about it. If you're an individual contributor, ask your boss the question. What's going on with AI within the business, right? I mean, so I think the conversations, normalizing the conversation, not it being, some secret, I think that is step one, is just bringing it in the forefront and just taking it head on that way, whether you have the answers or not. You may not, and that's okay. You say that then. We're figuring this out together, right? Or this isn't, going to, help or support our, whatever the position is or the thoughts, right? It's just having those conversations can quell a lot of fears and will help you retain your top talent, ideally.
Therapy is something that everyone can use. But when you talk about therapy, or if you talk about therapy, often people say, I don't know where to start, or it's so expensive, and that's just the end of the conversation. But what if it didn't have to be? With Grow Therapy, their care is designed to be affordable, insurance-friendly, and easy to understand. No subscriptions, just support that fits your life and your budget. Whether it's anxiety, burnout, relationship stress, anything, you're not alone, and you don't have to figure it out alone either. Grow Therapy makes getting help feel really doable. Whatever challenges that you're facing, Grow Therapy is here to help. Sessions average about $21 with insurance, and some pay as little as $0 depending on their plan. Visit growtherapy.com/HRBesties today to get started. That's growtherapy.com/HRBesties. growtherapy.com/HRBesties. Availability and coverage vary by state and insurance plan.
Let's be real. No one starts a business for the joy of calculating tax withholdings. I know I didn't. So that's where Gusto comes in, to take the stress out of payroll, benefits, and HR so that you can focus on why you started your business in the first place. Gusto is online payroll and benefits software built for small businesses. It's all in one, remote friendly, and incredibly easy to use. So you can pay, hire, onboard, and support your team from anywhere. Big shout out to all the small business owners out there, myself included, because we wear a million hats and still show up for the team. Let Gusto help. takes some of that load off, especially when it comes to payroll, benefits, and compliance. Try Gusto today at gusto.com/HRBesties and get 3 months free when you run your first payroll. That's 3 months of free payroll at gusto.com/HRBesties. One more time, gusto.com/HRBesties. Jamie, thoughts?
I think AI is a tool that we can use in addition to what we have, right? So maybe it can help us streamline things. Maybe it can help automate processes that we have never been able to before. But, from an HR standpoint, I think we are still needed because the humans still win in the empathy sense, the tough conversations, the culture building. That's not things that AI can do.
To that point, see, it's not about replacement, it's about reinforcement. It's about driving more meaning into the work that we do as human beings so that we can find more purpose in our work and connection with one another and our customers. Like AI, really, realistically, it cannot replace that ever. And so, people, necessary. Sorry, you'll still have to work with people.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, like, I'm so sorry,
I recommend for AI strategy for organizations. And honestly, especially if you're in HR, ideally if you're in a position of leadership, but I think HR can bring so much value by driving this, is a 3-step framework. And this is a framework as a fancy word for what you can do to...
Shit to do.
Yeah, shit to do. Shit to do. So, but it's a 3-step framework that is 1, what is allowed, 2, what is expected, and 3, what is possible. And it sounds like those are three words. But it is absolutely wild how many team members in how many organizations do not know 1, 2, or 3 of those. And that's generally about their jobs in particular. But in the AI space in particular, I think it's because a lot of organizations have gone to the position of don't ever use AI because you're going to put all our confidential information in there. And that's, as some people and examples have shown, that's a real consideration, but don't just manage to that. But giving examples what's allowed, what tools are allowed. And that's where I think HR and IT and other teams, but those two probably leading the charge can lead that with internal communications. But then what's expected and what's possible to give people that standard? Because recently I've spoken with now a number of organizations that talk about performance reviews. And they'll say, what are you hearing? I laugh as if people think that my conversations are all about work and leadership, which is actually probably often true. As my kids will say, I'll bring every topic like a cringy LinkedIn poster to type back. But it is what are you seeing? And I'm seeing people oh, we want to put AI on performance reviews. Okay. But if I'm a team member and I do not know what's allowed, expected, and possible, and all of a sudden this is on my performance review, what does that mean? And so I think thinking of that framework, and then for managers, how you communicate this to your team members, how we cascade this from the top of our organization, but also to managers, and give examples of those individual contributors that are doing really cool things with AI, and maybe even people that learned hard lessons, because I do think this is an area where people will learn the hard way if they do something that's not allowed. But if you take that framework to your organization, I think you can quell not all the anxiety, but you can really show that you're communicating on it.
I love that. That's a really strong framework, especially the what's possible. I think that that could be really profound to some of your employees, expressing that.
That's where you can give the shine to those people that are doing cool things. And HR is not monitoring everyone's emails or productivity or finding those best practices or know what's shared. That has to be communicated, whether it's to HR or leaders or there's somehow. But when you can give recognition to people, no matter their title, may not be the title that you expect, but they're doing cool things and they're figuring out what's possible, that is such a game changer for your organization. And that makes those people motivated. Oh, that's cool. People share ideas.
Recently, I was at a conference and, of course, AI, right? I mean, a big topic of discussion. But I chatted with a number of individuals that shared that their organizations have to figure it out first and won't allow anything, right? I mean, so definitely a very conservative position to AI, not embracing it, right? Just, we have a team figuring this out in this dark room over here, right? How this may affect our businesses. And in some cases I could see, depending on the industry, what they do, okay, fine, whatever. But I would say it's better to embrace it, learn it, than fear it. there's small things that you can do and automate and use. I mean, if your organization isn't investing in tools and training and support, and it hasn't taken a position still with, your own work or on your team, I feel like this is one where, since it's so Wild West right now, so far, you can just ask forgiveness. I really do. That's my position there. I wouldn't put anything, confidential into anything, whatever. But there's ways to automate your work, even within your current tools. You probably don't even know about whatever product or platform you're using. Trust me. There's things there you can already do. So any way you can help streamline so that people can focus on, the real meaning behind the work. I mean, just go and do it. You don't have to get the green light per se. You can start doing things and figuring out the AI on, the tools you already have. But I'd ask forgiveness. I start making people's days a lot better and easier stat on some of those, tactical things.
Agree.
Ooh, that was a dangerous voice. Ain't just enough to be dangerous.
Big boy.
Agree, big boy.
I think when we started the podcast, we really thought it was just going to be like us and our mics and our thoughts, but it was actually so much more than that. We were the editor, the producer, the social media manager, the scheduler, the graphic designer. Basically, it's a lot. And don't get me wrong, it's all very exciting. But I remember thinking, I wish there was one place we could go to at least make some of this easier. And that's exactly what Shopify is for business owners. Whether you're selling merch, launching a new product, or building your brand from scratch, Shopify is the business partner that helps you get started and keeps you going. It's like having an entire team in your corner, but one that actually knows what's going on. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands that are just getting started. Get started with your own design studio with hundreds of ready-to-use templates. Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store to match your brand style. Accelerate your content creation. Shopify is packed with helpful AI tools that help you write product descriptions, page headlines, and even enhance your product photography. Get the word out like you have a marketing team behind you. Easily create email and social media campaigns whenever your customers are scrolling or strolling. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing refunds and beyond. So if you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Turn your big business idea into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 a month trial today at shopify.com/HRBesties. Go to shopify.com/HRBesties. Shopify.com/HRBesties.
AI had the time of my life. AI never felt this way before.
From building timelines to assigning the right people and even spotting risks across dozens of projects, Monday Sidekick knows your business, thinks ahead, and takes action. One click on the star and consider it done.
And I owe it all to you.
Try Monday Sidekick. AI you'll love to use on Monday.com.
Oh, gosh, well, we turned that inside out, didn't we? I am feeling a lot less anxious already. About AI. Still anxious about a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
Any questions or comments?
I have a comment of something that I love. Is I think AI anxiety it's in the workplace, it's all over the place. In one place that it can be is the villages, the retirement community in Florida where my parents live. And so my mom told me she recently took a ChatGPT class where they learned like how to access it, how to use it, how to prompt. And my mom, for those that haven't heard, she went to law school later in life. She graduated from law school in her 50s. So she was a librarian before that. So, my mom is not completely a newbie to ChatGPT, but she was so excited to tell me about this and everything that they learned and, all like the skills they learned. And they talked about how to use it for your life. And so I love that. And so I do think your organization doesn't have to live up to the villages, but even to have like a lunch and learn that's like how to use ChatGPT. I actually have LinkedIn learning courses, but I have one that's like a nano course on tips for work and life. I think you can access for free. I'll include the link. It's short. It's like a few 1-minute videos, but just on ways that you can use it. But sharing some of the tips, I do think can reduce anxiety. And it's not just for older team members. It's for everybody across the board. But I loved it.
Love that.
Yeah, I love that.
Of course, I was like, how much did they charge? Like, oh, we could do Bestie's trip down to Florida.
Right?
I was like, oh, tell me about that. What's the P&L for that class? But anyway.
Not a question, but a quick comment from me, piggybacking off of what you just shared, Ashley. I think that it would be good if your employer isn't embracing AI or is anti for whatever they're figuring it out, right? That doesn't mean you can't embrace AI in your own life, right? And learn it, right? I recently took a trip, like a week and a half trip around Europe, okay? That itinerary was courtesy of AI.
What?
Yes, it did everything for me. Suggested what to do, hotels to book, things I need to be thoughtful of, renting a car there. I mean, everything. I mean, full itinerary, so badass. But, that's just an example of how I personally use it, and I've been trying to learn myself, and so I want to incorporate more of that into, my business and trying to help streamline some of the tactical things behind the scenes, but using it for yourself personally first, love. That's helped me.
Clarissa is my homegirl, so
she explains it all.
Yeah, that's what I call my ChatGPT. But yeah, I mean, I just on a hopeful note, maybe humans are not going anywhere, unfortunately. So people be peoplein' still, and AI is not going to help us on all the peoplein'.
Intro story. That was a great example, Jamie.
Big boy.
Try not to be anxious, besties. You got this.
AI had the time of my life. AI never felt this way before.
From building timelines to assigning the right people and even spotting risks across dozens of projects, Monday Sidekick knows your business, thinks ahead, and takes action. One click on the star and consider it done.
And I owe it all to you.
Try Monday Sidekick, AI you'll love to use on Monday.com.